Okay, let's look at, this is 11-3. I'm going to do this even one. And let's break it down into a very simple problem. Make sure you pay attention. They want surface area, and we're rounding to the nearest whole number. And this is a pyramid. I know that because it has a little point here at the top. And it's actually a square pyramid. Although we don't care about the base, it's all fine. It looks just like this. And we're finding surface area. So my formula for surface area is 1/2 L, and I'm going to do a fancy L, just like the formula sheet, P plus a capital B. Now remember, L is your slant height. Slant height, remember that's the story I told you where we're at the top of the pyramid, and we ride down, and we go, and we make a perpendicular to the side here, and it also bisects the side. And that is called your slant height. Okay? Now in this case, my slant height is 8. And then they ask for your perimeter. And they're always asking for the perimeter of the base. And my base here is, they want to know the perimeter. Now this is a square. So what is this side? It's going to be the same, and this side. So 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, or 6 times 4, which is 24. And then remember that the capital B means the area of the base. So I want to find the area of this whole base. Okay? How do I find the area of a square? You're going to multiply the base times the height. So 6 times 6. So I'm adding 36. Now I know that's in yellow, so I'm going to make it darker with a pencil. Okay? So we can put that straight in the calculator, and you know, instead of typing in 1/2, I'm just going to use a decimal equivalent of 0.5 times 8 times 24 plus 36. And the answer is 132. So in this problem, my surface area is 132, unit is meters, and we square it, because area is always squared. So I don't think you're going to have any problems finding surface area here. Now remember, the only difference between surface area and lateral area is we don't find this yellow. We never add that in when we're doing lateral area. So pay attention here, because notice down here they're wanting lateral area. So all we're going to do is drop that capital B. So to find the lateral area of this shape, now this is a regular pentagon, okay? And the only reason I know that is because there's no other way to do the problem. So if it's not a regular, we're in trouble. So we're going to always pretend that they aren't telling me. It'd be impossible to do it the other way. My formula for lateral area, now if you can't remember, it's fine. It's right here. Notice that the difference between surface area and lateral area is, for surface area, we add the base. So all I'm going to do is write 1/2 the slant height times the perimeter. Oh, knocked my drink over. 1/2 my fancy L for slant height times the perimeter. So here's my slant height, and it's 4. Nope, I'm sorry, it's 6. As I look at these problems, I notice that arrow right there. You probably were all like, no, Mrs. Steckler, it's 6. Okay, and here is the perimeter. Remember, if this is a regular pentagon, all these are going to be the same. So how many 4s do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 4 is 20. So let's just put that in the calculator. 0.5, because that's the decimal equivalent of 1/2, times 6 times 20. So my lateral area here is 60. Notice my units is meters, and area is always squared. Okay? Now 5 is a little tricky, and that's the one you have to do. I just want to point out, to find the slant height, you're going to have to come out here, and I want you to think, if this is all the way across this whole square, it's 10. So what is it from the center to the side? It's going to be half. So that is going to be a 5, okay? And then your slant height is going to come from here down. So I just want to point out, look at this. You've got the height in the middle, which is 15. This distance, which is 5. And then your slant height, which is what you've got to figure out. Notice this is a right triangle. Hopefully everybody's playing that I Spy a Right Triangle game that I like so much, so that you'll be able to do that problem. And then once you know the slant height, finding the lateral area is easy. I imagine that if you were given a question this simple on a test, you would have to do something to find that slant height. They're probably not going to give it to you. Now 6 is basing on this, but I just want you to see, all we have is we have a cube. So we would find the area of the cube, and then we have a pyramid. So we have to find the area of the pyramid as well. And then we just add them together. Okay, it's not that difficult. It just would take you an extra step. It's not too tough. I think everybody in my class could do that, because look right here. They gave me the slant height. That makes life much easier when they give you the slant height, because you can figure it out at that point. I don't think you're going to need any more help on these. These are just giving you the information without giving you a picture. And so you just have to kind of draw your own picture, okay? On the back, these are cones. Cones are just very similar to pyramids, just like a cylinder is similar to, the cylinder is very similar to these, okay? And the cone and the pyramid are best friends too. They have a lot of things in common, and we treat them very much the same when we're finding lateral area, surface area, and volume, okay? So for a cone, they want us to find surface area, and the cone surface area is pi r squared plus pi r l, L being the slant height. So in number 12, we're going to use this surface area formula, and it's pi r fancy L plus pi r squared. Notice it doesn't matter which one I put first, it's all fine. Okay? And pi r squared is really just the area of that base. So you could put a capital B there, but because it's a circle, and I think we want the answer left in terms of pi, like right here, I'm going to go ahead and leave it in terms of pi here. So what's my slant height? That's my slant height, and that is 8. What's your radius? It's 4. And I'm going to do 4 squared over here too. Now I'm going to put my parentheses in so we don't get all confused here. The 4 and the 8 are separate numbers. That's my R, that's my L. And I can just put that all in the calculator. Now remember, when we want our answer left in terms of pi, we are not going to multiply pi through. So 4 times 8, this side is 32 pi. And then 4 squared is 16. So I'm going to add 32 plus 16, and that's going to give me 48. So my surface area left in terms of pi is 48 pi. And then our units is millimeters squared. And we're done. So surface area really isn't any different regardless of the figure. You're just using the formula. The most important thing to do is think about that slant height. That's the trick to these. Now if you look down here at these, remember the picture we just did of the cone, of the cube with the roof? This is just a cylinder. You'd find the surface area of the cylinder, or the whatever it wants. I think number 17, it wants you to find the surface area of the figure. So remember, when we find the surface area of this figure, if this is a you're not going to be able to find this. That's not really part of the figure. This base is, but that base is not. That base is underneath or inside the figure, so that's not a surface area. So be careful when you get problems like this. We would be able to find the surface area of the cylinder, and notice that's 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh. Well, pi r squared is the area of the base, and I only am going to be using this base. So I'm not going to put a 2. I'm just going to, we normally would have 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh. This is finding the, if I painted the outside of the cylinder, this is finding the base, and I'm only going to find 1. So I'm going to drop that 2 there. Notice my radius is 6. So I'm plugging 6 in anywhere I see the r. And my height is 8. And that's going to give me the surface area of the cylinder. And you might put cylinder so you can keep track of which one you're doing at a time. And it doesn't ask for this in terms of pi, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply pi through. So we have pi 6 squared plus 2 pi 6 times 8. And then I'm going to hit enter. And that's going to multiply everything through. So the cylinder surface area is 414.7, and my units is millimeters squared. Now let's find the surface area of the cone. A cone surface area is pi r squared plus pi r fancy slant height. So we found the surface area of the cylinder, and now we're going to find the surface area of the cone. The problem is, once again, this circle is no longer part of my problem. I still have the same radius, obviously, but I'm not going to be finding that. So really, we're finding the lateral area, which is this. So I'm going to drop that, and let's find what it is. So the cone is going to equal pi. What is your radius? If this is the radius down here, isn't that the same radius at the top? It is. It's 6. And then what is your slant height? The slant height is going to be this, which is 7. So let's go ahead and multiply that. So we're going to have pi times 6 times 7. And so that's the area of this cone. And I'm calling it surface area, but it's really not. This is really a lateral area. So now I'm going to add my two areas together. So 131.9 plus 414.7 is going to give me, for this whole shape, the surface area is going to equal 546.6. Now it wants me to round it to the whole number. See the whole number up there? So this is actually going to be, we want to roll around to that spot, look just to the right, that's a 5 or more. So my actual answer is going to be 547 millimeters squared. And that's a good answer there. And it took us a little bit of work, but it wasn't ridiculously difficult. And I really feel like most of you could have done that. Now, most of you are a little bit lazy, and you wouldn't have wanted to put that much work into it, but you could have easily done that. And we've been doing that all night. I hope this helps you with your homework. If you have any questions, please send me an email so that I can try and respond, or come and see me during Spartan Time.